The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Dean Craig, Head of Marketing for the Vocational Division here at Pearson Education, and I have with me Katie Isles, who's a media editor in the vocational team. Today's webinar is on introducing digital learning to your... Oh, sorry, a slight error there on that screen, because it said electrical class, and of course this is a building class. Sorry for that. What we do today is we'll just go through a quick introduction, then about the text that we're going to be using for today's demonstration. Then Katie will take us through the EText, and as well as some of the instructor resources, and then at the end we'll be giving you an opportunity to ask questions. Through today's webinar, you'll see, if you look at your screen, there's a question box. You can expand and contract that using this little orange arrow here. What we'll do is we'll collect the questions, and as we go through, if we haven't actually answered your question by the end of today, we'll answer them then, and if there's any kind of outstanding matters, we will then email you directly or put a kind of a broadcast email out to everybody that's attended. The other thing is today's seminar or webinar will be recorded, so that will enable you to forward it to any of your colleagues, or if you missed part of it and you'd like to see that again, you'll be able to replay it. So today what we're covering off is there's three texts that we have the Pearson EText available for: basic building and construction, site establishment, and advanced building and joinery. We're not going to be talking about specifically about the content of the text today. Very much what we'll be talking about is the technology that gives you a fantastic new option for how you deliver your course. These three products are available as a text, the traditional textbook, a text plus an EText in a package, or just as a standalone text. So you and indeed your students have a choice around how they want to access the content. They also come with a range of instructor resources that will help you start teaching sooner and make it a lot easier to use our product. So at this point, what I'd like to do is introduce Katie, and she'll be taking us through the EText. Katie.
All right, hi everyone. So I've just put the EText page up on the screen. So we're going to talk a little bit about how the EText can help you individualize the textbook for your class, and also how it can help you find information quickly and easily. We'll show you some helpful instructor resources, as Dean mentioned, you know, and those should be a real time saver for you. So the first obvious question is, what is the EText? The EText is a customizable online version of your textbook. It's browser-based, so you view the EText while you're online, and all of your personalizations are available whenever you log in from any computer. It doesn't have to be your own personal one. You can be out and about anywhere. It has exactly the same page layout as the printed text, so you and your students can use either the EText or the printed text, or both in different situations, whatever works best for you in different situations. I'll just show you a little bit around the basic screen that we have here. So in the left-hand corner, we've got the table of contents. So you can expand chapters and go to specific areas of the text. We've got general functions like, you know, the page forward and back. You can type in a specific page number to go to a page. You've got screen zoom. If you, for example, want to see a figure more closely, you can zoom in on that and see it at a much larger size. And you've got the bookmark tool and an interactive whiteboard view as well, if you happen to be using an interactive whiteboard in your classrooms. So that's just a little bit about the actual interface of the eText itself.
Okay, so Katie, can the eText be individualised by the teacher so they can set it up around their course?
Yeah, okay, I'll show you a little bit about individualising the eText. So if you want to individualise the eText for your class, the first thing that you'll need to do is actually set up your own personal course. That's quite easy. All you need to do is go here to the settings in the top right corner. Once you're in the settings, you'll see that you have the option here to create a new course. So all you need to do is click on Create New Course, and I'll just make sure that's loaded on everyone's screens out there. Yep. So I'll add in a course title of Katie's course so my students can recognise me and know that they're joining the right one. I'll scroll down the page a little and then select Create Course here to confirm that I'm creating it. Okay, so once you've created your course, you'll see on the screen that you receive an eText course ID. Now you'll need this because what you need to do once you've created your course is have all of your students join it so that they can see your personalizations. So just copy this eText course ID and send it on to your students. When they register for the eText themselves, the first thing they'll be asked when they enter the eText is whether they'd like to join a class. So all they do is pop that eText course ID into the box and click yes, I would like to join my instructor's class, and they're sent directly to your class. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'll go back to the eText. Once you've created your class, you can start personalizing it for all of your students. So we'll go back to settings, and you'll see here that I have the option in the top right corner to customize my eText. So if I go to that, you'll see that I have the table of contents down here in the right hand of screen, and what I can do is I can hide chapters or sections that I'm not planning on using. I can rearrange them if I like. So if I happen to be teaching risk assessment, for example, right at the beginning of semester, I can just take that and drag it up here to the beginning of chapter 1, and my students will see that content in that order because that's applicable to how they need to study. So I might also like to hide some stuff which I won't be needing in here. So for example, I might hide some elements of chapter 5. I might hide calculation of percentages and calculation of various solid shapes. I happen to be using my own notes for that, so they don't need to be seeing that in the eText. Yeah, so you can rearrange the book however you like, and once you've finished, if you change your mind at all at any point, you can click on this reset button down in the bottom right-hand corner, and that'll take your eText back to its original clean state if you change your mind. But if you're happy with your changes, you can press save, and it'll soon come up with a notification that your eText has been saved and customized. So once you've rearranged the chapters however you might like, we'll just go back to the eText. You might like to also create some notes and highlights for your students so that they can see the sorts of things that they should be looking at. We'll just go to a page of the eText here. I'll wait for a moment to make sure it's loaded onto everybody's screens. Yep, okay, so one thing I might like to do is have my students read this section before their next class. So I'll use the note tool. I'll just pop a note there. You'll see that I have the option to share this note with students, and I will because I'd like them to read this section. So before class. Okay, so I just save that, and then the note is there for my students to see. I can also include private notes for myself, and they show up as yellow thumbtacks. I might also like to highlight something so that just to be really clear that this is something that students need to look at. Okay, so students are able to find these notes and highlights really easily. they will see in their left navigation menu here we have the notes area. So if I just expand that, you'll be able to see that the note that I've just created is listed there. So that'll be listed along with any other notes or changes that you make to the title, so that students just go to the Notes Manager and see all of the things that they should look at which you've added. Okay, and one other thing I should mention about personalising the ebook is that you might spend a fair bit of time in there adding notes and highlights or adding links for other resources that you'd like to direct students to, and you might think, well, I don't want to have to do that again next term when I have a new class. The good news is that you can export these changes and import them into another course, so you never have to do the same work twice. You can also have a bunch of different classes running at the same time with different information in them if that's what you need as well.
Okay, thanks for that, Katie. A question, how can the eText help students and indeed teachers find the information that they need really quickly?
Yeah, okay, so the great thing about going online is that we can do things like have a nice, quick and easy search function. So this is the My Searches area of the eText. You'll see that I've got the search results showing up there for a search that I've done most recently, calculate percentage. They're all displayed really nicely. You know, I have the chapter and the page on which the terms appear, and also a little screen grab of the page so I can see what I'm clicking on rather than just having to blindly click through text links. I have a search history on the left here so that I can quite easily skip back to anything that I've looked for before, you know, important things that I might often need to use. You know, that's really handy. You can limit your results to different parts of the book. You can search within a particular chapter, and you can also sort the search results by relevance or by chapter if you're looking for material in a specific chapter. Okay, so the other thing that you can do to find information quickly and easily is bookmark the pages that you commonly need to use, or indeed the last page that you've been on when you stopped reading. So that's just this icon here. You'll see it's bookmarked. The little right-hand corner of the page is turned down. And as with the notes, these are all tracked in this left-hand navigation menu here. So you can just click on bookmarks and you'll see that I've bookmarked page 78, so that's easy for me to find next time I go into the eText.
Thanks, Katie. When we're out talking with teachers, often the students are now either being given as part of their course a mobile device like an iPad or, say, an Iconia tablet. Could you talk to us about the applicability of this software to those devices?
Yeah, sure. So you can view your eText on tablet devices. We have an iPad app and we also have an Android app. So I'll just bring up the Android app screen as an example for you. So if you have an iPad, you can go to the Apple App Store and search for Pearson eText, and that's a free app to download. If you have an Android device, you can go to the Google Play Store, the Android App Store, and search for Pearson eText there. So you can see I've just brought up the page now. There's a pretty, you know, nice detailed description of what the app is, how to access your titles, and what you get when you're in the app, as well as, you know, what version of the Android operating system you require. So that's all, you know, nicely explained there and pretty user-friendly if you're just starting out and trying this for the first time. I'll just go back to the eText. So once you've downloaded the app and signed in, you'll see a bookshelf containing all of the eTexts that you've subscribed to. And when you're inside those eTexts, you'll still see all of the personalizations, notes, highlights, bookmarks that you've made when you're working on your regular PC. And from the app as well, if you're a teacher, you can still manage all of your classes and you know, see your students in the roster and all that sort of thing. So the other thing with the apps that I should mention is that you can actually use them to download chapters for offline use. So if you're in situations where the wireless internet might not be so reliable. For example, if you have a bunch of students in a classroom who are all looking at an eText on their iPad and the wireless connection is a bit slow, they can simply download chapters to their device before they come to class, and that'll make sure that everyone has access to all the pages nice and quickly throughout the class.
So that download functionality would also be quite applicable to students that may be not working in a traditional classroom-based environment where there's institutional internet, for instance, or wireless, so they could take it on site or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, anytime, anywhere access if you're using a tablet with the app installed.
Okay. And for instructors, they actually have some resources embedded in the eText, right, where writing the text?
Yeah, that's right. So at the moment I'm looking at the instructor view of the eText, which means that I can see in the left navigation menu here the instructor's resources. Students can't see that. Now you can see we've got here PowerPoints for every chapter of the book, which you can use in class. There's also a solutions manual answering questions that are in the textbook. And we have a digital image library here as well, which you can use to download all of the figures and tables from any chapter you like, and you can pop those in your own PowerPoint presentation or use them however you like.
Okay, thanks for that, Katie. The other question is, and it will always come up with any technology, especially new technology, help.
Yeah, so in terms of technical support, I mean, firstly, it's good to note that there's a really extensive help menu here in the eText. If you just click on this help icon at the top right of screen, you'll receive an overview of all the eText functions and how you can work anything. If that doesn't help you, then there is also the option of Pearson's 24/7 customer support website. So there are a bunch of options if you need support here. Firstly, if you think that your query is quite common, you might like to use the Find Answers option, which is, you can search for commonly asked questions. Secondly, if you think that this is something that you're experiencing which is a bit different to what others might have happened to them, you can send an email. Emails will always be responded to within 24 hours. And thirdly, if you're in a bit of a crisis and you need to have your issue resolved very quickly, there is the chat option at this 24/7 website where you chat with a operator directly to solve the issue right away. So yeah, Pearson 24/7 customer help. There are help icons in the eText if you need to get to this site, or otherwise you can just Google Pearson 24/7 and you'll find this site.
Okay, thanks for that, Katie. Let's go back to the current slide. Okay, so just summarising, we've talked about how you can customise the text to suit your course, so the students see the text in the way that you want them to. You can also, of course, build in all those links and the advanced text functions, and of course the note sharing. If you would like to request a sample of the eText after this webinar, I should say, you can email vet@pearson.com.au. If you've decided to use the text already, make sure you place your order with the bookseller or directly with Pearson, as semester 2 is fast approaching. And at the end of this webinar, if not tomorrow morning, you'll receive an email that includes some more detailed information and a link to the recording. We have some questions from some teachers that we'll like to cover off. The first one, what is the Apple app?
What is the Apple app?
I suppose if you go to
go to the Apple App Store,
yeah,
and just search for Pearson eText, you can download the app directly to your device, and you'll be able to see the eTexts which you have access to.
And the same with Google Play.
Yeah, on your iPad or on your Android tablet device.
Okay. Can my students share a login?
The answer to that is no, because it's a personal tool. You know, it's filled with their personal notes, their personal highlights, and as well as the notes that their instructor makes for them. So really they'd be missing out on some important functionality if they tried to share it.
And we've got a question, can I link to websites from the eText?
Yes, you can. I'll just pop back to the eText to show how that works. So when you make a note for students, you can insert a URL for them to link to as well. All I need to do is, well, first of all, select to share this note with students. Then I highlight the part that I'd like to make a hyperlink, and I can add in the URL here. So, of course, if I was really teaching a class, I'd probably make it a bit more interesting a note, but you can see that students can now link to whatever you've popped in there.
Okay, and the next question, can I print from the eText?
Yeah, you can print one page at a time. So if there's something important that you need to take with you, you can do that. Alternatively, you can print all of your notes if you like.
Okay. And then this is kind of a compatibility question, I suppose. Can I view the eText on a Kindle device, Fire, Touch, or regular Kindle?
You can't, because this is for Android or for iPad.
Okay.
Yeah, not Kindle.
I'm just looking through our questions. Can the worksheets work within Moodle?
Yeah, I mean, there are PDF files, so you can use them however you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can this be set up using Moodle?
You can link from Moodle to the eText, but students will have to log into the eText separately to Moodle. Yeah.
Okay. Is there an eText on the Foundation Skills book?
Yeah, we have a vital source.
Yeah, we have an alternate for that for Darren. We actually have a different version of eText, which is called Vital Source. What I'll do is I'll drop you a note after this with a link to a webinar that will actually talk about the Vital Source software, slightly different kind of scenario. I think that's the end of our questions. So thank you, Katie. And thank you, everybody, for attending today. Let's go back to the... as I said, this webinar has been recorded, so you'll see an email probably tomorrow morning with the link to the recording, so you can watch anything you missed. I know some people came in late. You can also forward that to any of your colleagues that you'd like to share that with. There's also some links on there with some further information about pack options, and if you need to talk to one of our educational consultants, there's a link there for you as well. So thank you for your time and have a great afternoon.